my name is Jordana and I make stuff out of trash. So I use unwanted and discarded materials as a metaphor for my experiences growing up in the system, and in a nutshell, being treated like garbage and feeling like garbage. I try to give these materials a new life. Growing up, I moved around a lot. I was a foster child. I was in PINS. I was in ACS. I was in and out of the system. I was homeless, institutionalized, and I had never lived anywhere for longer than 6 months to a year, aside till I was 23, since I was 11, or 10. So, and often I had lived in places for even less. So I always had to adapt, socially and just materially. The amount of stuff that I could take with me was not, a lot. And so I would usually just hang on to things that were super sentimental. But I also grew up really poor, so I didn't have a lot of toys, and I had to make things, or make my own toys, or just engage with things to amuse myself. If I don't make art, I would go crazy. I've tried, I've tried for many years to not make things, and I'm a firm believer of intrinsic goods, and one of the ways to achieve something like that, an enduring happiness, not something that's fleeting, even though material objects and stuff that you buy is often associated with superficiality and extrinsic goods, buying happiness. One of the things that makes me the most happy is just making things. One of my favorite things to do is to play with attraction and repulsion. And so I have a mask that's made out of women's underwear and I really it. Depending on how I display it, it could mean a bunch of different things. If a man wears it, it's different than if a woman wears it. There's all these sexual undertones in it. And I like it when people are confronted with they look at something like that and they, it's colorful. It's there's all these really fun, cool things about it, and they see it and they like it, but they're confronted with liking this thing that's often so connected to shame, and they're like, why do I like this? I shouldn't like this. I would say look at John, if you have access to the internet or a library or anything, find John Cage's 10 rules for teaching. It's things as simple as find a place that you trust and try trusting it for a while, or pull everything out of your students. It's meant for teachers to give to students, but I think it's if you're gonna be your own teacher, and you're pretty much all you have in this, other than the people that you meet in this endeavor that you have chosen. You have to be there for yourself and push yourself. And I think also one of those rules is to, it's something to the effect of seeing art in everything that you do, or making an effort towards your work every single day. And it could be something as simple as researching how much something costs, or making a doodle, or making going to a gallery, or talking to another artist, or just cleaning your room. It could be something that's you would think is completely unrelated to, but is really important in order for you to be able to do what you need to do. I myself, after I got out of school, I didn't have a space that, I didn't have places to put things. I didn't have the materials that I wanted, that I needed, or just the circumstances to be able to make the art that I wanted to make. And I went for pretty much a year not really making anything, just working and working towards being able to make something one day. Like every now and then, like I'd be at a bar and I'd make a doodle, or I'd like make a sculpture out of the straws and the olives or whatever, the coasters. But like it can be really painful to not do what you want to do, and you have to still figure out how to, and it can be really painful to do what you want to do, so you have to figure out a way to like keep yourself going psychologically, and to like something to, I guess, work towards. Like, you know, you might not make anything for a year because you're working in a restaurant and saving up money so you can rent a studio one day, or you're like picking stuff off the sidewalk so you can have the materials when you have that studio. Or, you know, you're going to places and meeting people. But don't buy into meritocracy either. Like, what is that? Meritocracy is the idea that, like, because we live in the United States of America, and like it's like I think it's the Constitution, where it's like everybody is entitled to the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and like it's complete bullshit. So like there's the idea that like we're all here, we're all the same, but obviously some people, there's inequity, like, and some people have more privileges than others and are allowed to like do certain things, you know, like get an education, or like have money, or like not have to worry about like where they're gonna live, you know, like, or to even be able to get on the train and like go to school or something.